following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff. Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried. Sacked by Moore. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And welcome to the 2019 season of Dallas Cowboys football, which commences right now with the start of OTAs here at the Star in Frisco. Are you excited, Mickey Spagnola? You have a smile on your face.
You're making this the official start of the season?
Because this is the
practice?
first time. This is the first time the entire team has been on the field together at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. It's happening right now, right?
More or less.
More or less. We've established the fact the rookies haven't gathered with the veterans, and so now you've got the entire team together for the first time here on May 21st,
Can I wait till
2019 at 11 a.m.
Can I wait till Tank Lawrence is back on the field before I say this is the official start of the season? Can I just get 90 back and then we say that? I'm going to wait till September. How about that?
That was so dramatic, though.
Yeah.
That was so dramatic.
I like that, Bill. You must be in the TV business.
Yeah. That was way overly dramatic, but okay. We'll go with it.
I get it, though, man. I get it.
We got to sell it.
The helmets are on.
Yeah.
The helmets are on. They're doing stuff. But, yeah.
What do voluntary mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is voluntary.
Wait for 800 words
So
tomorrow.
wait until
Are you 800?
800
All right.
words tomorrow. Yeah.
minicamp next month will be the official start.
Okay,
then.
wait a minute. What do you got on?
What?
That watch.
I can't see.
Yeah, but look at it.
What's wrong with it?
It's awesome.
It's
It's what
big.
it is.
Yeah.
It's gold.
It's baller.
There it is.
Can't see. That's my problem.
Was that a bowl gift?
No, it's just a gift.
That was,
to my, it was
you played before there were such things as
yeah, I wish I
massive bowl
missed
gifts.
the bowl watch. I've got all my bowl watches though, but they're all too small. No, I can't see anymore, Mick. That's my problem. It has to be big enough for me to see. Can you see what time it is there?
About?
It's time for the start of a Cowboys season.
There it is again.
There we go.
I'm sorry, Mickey. I couldn't see.
I just saw it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank
I saw
you.
that big white band.
Yeah, I need a summer watch. It's my summer watch.
It goes well with that Super Bowl ring you got.
I'm trying. I don't have my
Solid gold.
no, not that solid gold, Mickey. It's just it was kind of a gift to myself. So
And leave it to Mickey to derail the Cowboys season as soon as we get started here.
no, that's okay. I appreciate it. We're fine.
By 11:04, it's derailed by Mickey.
So in
No,
11 minutes,
the
we're gonna
opening,
have
the
kickoff,
dramatic
right?
opening you had derailed the season. Everybody was ready to go until you went big voice guy on us.
I'm
And,
a distractible player.
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
yes, you are.
Speaking of that guy.
Yeah. All right, so they are indoors at Ford's. Are all the practices going to be indoors now
are.
because of the
They are.
construction going on outdoors? There
are.
is one field available.
But they're not going to use it.
They're not going to use
They're
it.
going to play indoors till we get to. So from what I heard and talking to Chris, the field man, he says he will not have this ready until training camp, until after we get back from training camp. The other field will not be ready. So they'll do everything inside for the next month or so.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have any choice today. It's raining.
Yeah, and it is raining today, and so Mickey, give us an update on the construction going on out there. Exactly, there's going to be a big announcement, I believe, tomorrow afternoon.
Thursday.
It's Thursday afternoon.
Thursday.
Thursday
the construction
afternoon.
of the Dr. Pepper
There he
Keurig
is.
building that will take up the players' parking lot. But that's the most involved process I've ever seen to put down another grass field.
He's been out there surveying things.
Has he?
Yes, he's very in tune with
They're
what's
putting
going on
down
out there.
so much stuff. What are they doing?
They're building a building, is what they're doing.
but they're not. But there's going to be a grass field there.
Yeah, but they had to make a for the fire. God, why are we talking about this? God, no wonder our ratings suck sometimes.
We covered your watch. It's a great watch.
This is why they're indoors.
We got,
They
they're
built
building
this
a
cement
exactly
wall in the-
Cowboys.
they
When I
built-
hear that Cowboys. That's right, mine. Yeah,
Thank you, Kent.
This is Cowboys. They built a cement wall in the ground.
Yeah, but Mickey, not everybody gets to see what you and I get to see every day. They're putting a fire lane around. They have to have the fire lane built, so they have to move the field, build the fire lane, and then now we can have a field. So they have to build the fire lane first that goes all the way around the building.
That's
so
the explanation I was looking for.
It's kind of like a firewall on your computer.
We could have had this offline, but no. We had to make it part of our
I asked it right now.
We are 6 minutes in.
54 minutes of construction talk.
Hey, people want us to pull the curtain
And
back.
there is one thing that we, all Cowboys fans, everyone in this building praying for, that what happens during OTAs here is not the same thing that happened yesterday in Washington. And that would be a key player going down with an injury. Reuben
the first
Foster.
snap?
It was.
They've had that happen. Remember Sean Lee?
Yep, it was 5 years ago,
Yeah,
2014.
Zach Martin. Yeah, that's the biggest fear that you have of when you get on the field. You're all excited to see the rookies and the veterans. And Mickey has talked about this before. How do these rookies practice? How do they learn to practice? The veteran guys know tempo. They understand how to work with each other. Are you going to have a rookie that's a little exuberant, trying to make it rambunctious, whatever word you want to use that I can't spell? You have to worry about that. You have to worry about guys planting, turning. I mean, injury is part of this game, but you don't want it during an OTA where something, the other day with Weber, him, now having to get an MRI, everything's back. He's back to practice and stuff like that. But you just don't want anything to derail your start of your season as you go to camp.
And you mentioned Zach Martin, and that 2014, Martin was a rookie then.
He was a rookie, and he did it was a great block on.
Yeah,
he eliminated Sean Lee, but Sean was trying to plant, redirect, and knee gave out. So
he had a bad knee anyway.
Yeah, that's a freak thing. But that's another reason why if these guys have a little something, you're not going to see him out here. And I know Tank and Byron Jones wouldn't be ready for this anyway, but you're going to see those guys hopefully week one. You're not going to see them try to push to get back in training camp. They're going to bubble wrap guys this time of year. You got to have your key guys healthy, and so it's probably why you're not going to see everybody out here in the OTAs.
That's one of the reasons why back in the day when they were had training camp in Thousand Oaks, Tom would bring in the rookies ahead of time for
all
a week
125
or so.
of them.
Yeah. Right. And there were other reasons why they brought them in early, but one of the reasons were to get the rookies' exuberance out of them for a week, so when the veterans got there, they don't come in and ruin Tony Dorsett. Or I think as happened in 1989, was it? They had signed a rookie or a free agent running back. No, it was 90 because it was Stan
Spagala from Notre Dame.
Stan Smagala.
Yeah, and he took out the veteran the veteran running back on the first practice and tore his knee up. It was touchdown somebody from Nebraska. I can't remember the guy's name.
Tommy Vardell.
No, it wasn't. It was
Stanford,
before.
I think.
That would be Stanford, and that'd be Cleveland
But
Browns.
anyway, that was an example of you have contact right away, and they hear this guy's going to make a big tackle on the sideline. He takes out your running back. He's just spent free agent money on.
Well, and speaking of that, there an injury this morning at OTAs. The Buffalo Bills, their big free agent tight end signing, Tyler Croft, goes down with I believe it was a fractured foot, and he's lost for 4 months at least. It looks like they just spent $18 million over the next 3 years for him.
Bill, why are you
There
doing
you go.
this to us? Why are you making me worried all of a sudden about practices?
Thundercloud Jones over here.
Don't worry, the trainers are already worried.
Yeah.
So
This is not
they
a
hold
fun
their breath every time these
this is not a fun time of
OTAs
year.
begin.
This part is not fun. No.
But you got to get out there at some point.
Yeah.
And because of the new CBA, you're already reduced on what you can do on the field anyway. So this is valuable time before you get to training camp, whether you're in pads or not.
So what's the big thing they try to accomplish during OTAs?
Get them lined up.
Yeah.
To me, this is when you go out to the OTA field to watch practice on tomorrow, just take a peek of where they're playing guys. And again, you got to factor in injuries of guys like Rob was saying that some guys won't be practicing. But if they're moving guys in multiple positions, if they're taking, say for example, they're taking one of the Jackson, the defensive end from Miami, and they're playing him on the left and right side. That give you a little indication that they feel like, okay, this kid, we're going to throw something at him. and see if he can handle both.
They like him. Right?
The safety. We're talking about the safety from Texas A&M yesterday. Wilson. If you listened yesterday to the show, Hanging with the Boys, Will McClay was on it. He was talking about some of Nate asked a question about some flexibility with him, his ability to play at the slot. Will's like, yeah, absolutely. The more things you can get these guys to do, catch where they're playing guys, and if guys are playing on the first and second team, maybe that will give you a little bit of an indication of what they think about these guys and how we're going to see them used at training camp.
That's a great point, because if they like a guy, they'll try him at different spots.
Right.
And just in case, injuries happen during the season, if we're in a pinch, can this guy do it? And,
right.
And it's a test for a guy that they have some faith in or belief in their ability.
Yep.
Mickey, would you like to chime in?
I thought that was very well said.
Yeah. because I mean, they're lining up offense, defense, but they're not in pads. It's hard to judge what the offensive, defensive linemen are doing. Like Jihad Ward last year looked great in these OTAs. Rod Marinelli kept telling us, I really like him. I got to see it with the pads on.
He did say that a bunch.
And we got to training camp, and it was a different story. But
like me out there playing.
But like you said, lining up, see where guys line up, and how guys are moving around. You can watch, pay attention more to the skill guys and the defensive backs more so, I think, than the lines.
And because of how many guys they'll have very limited in these workouts, there's some young guys who are going to get an opportunity to get out there and get some snaps they normally wouldn't get if Taco Charlton was out there and Anton Woods was out there. If DeMarcus Lawrence was out there, then somebody gets pushed down. But now everybody kind of gets to move up a step. Yeah. And you get opportunity to at least show them that, okay, I know where to line up. I know what the play calls are. I know what my responsibilities are, and go from there. But again, I think what always gets lost in these things is this is practice, right? They're teaching these rookies things that they haven't done before, and it's a little too early to start grading guys, and it's like, this guy can't do this, or this guy can't do that.
I'll do it.
And who's winning? Well, like position battles, I think you kind of got to wait till pads come on, but yeah.
This is where, though, this is where with no Travis Frederick, this will be interesting to see if they play McGovern at center.
Well, like he was doing in the rookie camp.
Yeah, will he be a guy that they're saying, okay, we're going to either, it'll be probably Joe Looney, and then will it be McGovern
or who else?
Well, they had the kid last year that they kept on the season the whole year.
Anger?
No, God, why am I? The kid that they got,
Redmond.
God,
Adam Redmond.
Adam. I apologize, Mr. and Mrs. Redmond, for getting your son's name, but yeah, I mean, he was a guy that played. Will McGovern be over Redmond playing center in this thing? Will we see him playing more guard? Where will we see? See, that's what the things I'm going to keep an eye on, though, is how quickly they're going to get some of these guys incorporate. And by injury, they're going to have. I think the defensive line is actually going to be really a mess. And I mean this in a mess of it's all going to be young guys.
Well,
I don't think it's going to be any. I think there'll be very few veterans that are actually playing with this defensive line.
So who's rehabbing from surgeries? Lawrence, Taco,
Woods.
You can throw Frederick in there.
Travis.
Shoulder.
I'm talking defensive line.
Oh, defensive
those
line.
three
Okay.
guys.
Yeah.
And no Randy Gregory.
And Gregory's not there.
Yeah.
This ain't defensive line, but Byron Jones won't be out there.
So when you're talking defensive line,
it's going to be a lot
that you're going to see.
There's going to be a lot of young guys, and maybe a lot of these young guys are going to get to work against a lot of these veteran all-pro guys that you have.
Joe Jackson, like you mentioned, Dorrance Armstrong, the undrafted guys, Daniel Wise, they'll get some reps.
Absolutely, they will. They will, and that's the good thing about it. And we'll get to see some. We'll see a veteran guy or two, maybe with Christian Covington. Hyder, those new guys will get some opportunity there, but it won't. I don't think when they go out there, that first defensive line will not look anything like what you're probably going to think it's going to look like.
Is Malik Collins good to go? Is he?
I believe so.
No.
Yeah. Yes. I didn't hear any problems with him. Okay. Mickey, you and I went through that whole thing. Didn't you write that down?
It's going to run today.
Okay. Mickey's got a story.
I had it in mix shots, and then they decided let's break it out.
Okay, Mickey did a thing where Mickey's got it. Injured. He's got it all. Mickey's got the whole thing. We met with the proper folks, and they kind of took us down a path that we need to go. So
And a lot of these guys are going to be limited. They may go out there and do like individual drills, skeleton stuff, and then when they go 11 on 11, they'll be out of there. Yeah. You're not going to see Lale Collins probably out there.
These backup quarterbacks need to have a good start. I mean, it's time for them to kind of build on something. Take this next month and kind of build on it where you're watching them every day. They look accurate. They're not getting hit, but they look like they're moving the team. They're making good throws. They're making good decisions. That's a big question mark to me right now.
They have a fourth guy?
No. They do not. And Steven was asked that yesterday when he talked at the complexity kind of event.
Yeah, Philip Nelson was the guy that they brought in to help out. But
he said, somebody asked him, "Are you going to bring in a fourth?" And he goes, "Not now." He goes, those young guys need all the snaps they can get.
There you go.
And he goes, then on top of that, Dak likes a lot of snaps. Yeah. He goes, we might bring one in, but as of now, these guys need snaps.
They do. They need to figure that backup quarterback spot out. Somebody's got to win this job. Because we talked about this. Every week we go on, we could talk about how this roster is going to be shaped, and then when we get to Oxnard, we're really going to talk about how this thing's shaped. I don't think you can keep three quarterbacks. I don't think you can, or four quarterbacks. Well, three quarterbacks.
Three.
Yeah, I don't think you can keep four tight ends. I mean, look at some of these positions, and this is what OTAs is like. Okay, let me see the numbers here. Okay, I've got these guys not practicing. I got these guys practicing. Look at the numbers and just say, wow, this is a spot that they can't go long here. They can't go long here. They can't go long here. Man, they've got to figure these things out. And I think these quarterbacks need to get off on a good foot. The backup quarterbacks need to get off on a good foot, and it kind of builds some momentum to where somebody wins this job this summer.
Where do you think Cooper Rush and Mike White? Where do you consider them?
Turn this into quarterback talk.
Well,
sorry about that.
And we just got a couple of minutes for our first break here. So let's explore that right now. Who are they? Are they in a dead heat right now? What do you think? I mean, Cooper Rush showed things his rookie preseason, and really
that's how he won the job.
Exactly.
That's how he got on here. And then last year,
he
looked like a bag of you know what, and both of them did. I mean, am I right?
No, you're right.
You were looking for one of them to step up. One was going to, who was going to be the guy?
How much does Mike White improve from year one to year two?
I was riding the Mike White train like it was no tomorrow, and look what happened there.
It's a position we're not talking about enough. We talk so much all offseason about what happens. Something happens to Zeke. Well, Zeke never gets hurt. But what if something happens? Well, Dak Prescott never gets hurt. Brian's knocking on wood for me. What happens if Dak Prescott misses snaps? What happens? Like
somebody needs to step up.
Not saying they should have drafted a guy, but it was such a focus on backup running back. Somebody needs to step up at backup quarterback.
No question.
And the thing about it is, we don't get an opportunity to the only time we get the chance to look at them is during training camp and preseason. Outside of this time of the year, we can watch them a little bit on one day a week during OTAs.
Let's see if every week starting tomorrow that the working with John Kitna improves these guys. I'm not just talking about the backup guys. Let's see if we see a little improvement in Dak. Maybe something with footwork, maybe something with accuracy, maybe something with arm angle. Maybe there's something like, man, he looks a little different throwing the ball. Looks a little different. The ball placement looks a little different here today. Every week we should see something that maybe leads us to training camp to think. Because, again, I bring up the thing about Connor Williams. We saw things with Connor Williams, and it's like, boy, he doesn't look strong. He doesn't look strong enough. Right now, he doesn't look strong enough. That was kind of something that we noticed in the OTAs, and it carried over into training camp, and he struggled through the year. But let's try and find something every week that maybe this guy, and these quarterbacks need to get better. They need to prove that they are confident if something happens to your starting quarterback.
Maybe John Kitna can have good influence. Because we talk about his relationship with Dak, but
maybe he needs to get his number again.
Yeah, well, God rest his soul. God rest his soul, Wade Wilson. I think that Wade Wilson that first year did, the veteran quarterback guy, the veteran president of a quarterback, helped Dak Prescott. Yeah, along with Mark Sanchez. Let's see if the drills and harping on technique and all that will help these quarterbacks improve.
And I think a big part of it for Dak in making the transition his rookie year is he knew Wade Wilson believed in him because
Wade Wilson was the guy that brought him here. Absolutely.
Starkville and
absolutely.
And he was selling him.
They will admit that. The scouts will admit that they thought they had Dak Prescott and they didn't.
Except at this time, his rookie year, he was an afterthought.
That's right. He was behind Jamil Showers in many people's minds.
Who, by the way, is another guy.
They thought they had him. The scouts thought they had that guy.
Another guy that will be limited in practice because remember he's coming back from torn ACL.
All right, we continue in the effect that Kellen Moore and John Kitna will have on this Cowboys offense, and there is a 6-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle out there on the streets all of a sudden.
Yes.
Should the Cowboys be interested when we come back on Talking Cowboys?
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
It's right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And we welcome you back to Talking Cowboys with this. Dallas Cowboys Youth Academies, dedicated to the development of young athletes and dancers of all skill levels through customized curriculum, personalized coaching, and interactive experiences with current Dallas Cowboys players and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Don't miss your chance to register for spring and summer youth camps at the Star at AT&T Stadium. Register today at dallascowboys.com/academy. Mickey, are you involved in the cheerleading judging the tryouts this year?
I did Saturday and Sunday.
I was real happy in the picture. What happened there?
It was good. It was
no smile? No smile from you in the back of the row of the picture?
You weren't smiling?
You weren't. He wasn't. He was way off camera, and it was like if someone said, okay, get together for a picture. Mickey's like, why?
I was concentrating on what I needed to do to make sure somebody didn't fall through the cracks that should have been made it to
It was
the finals.
the team picture of the judges.
Oh, the team picture of the judges.
Yeah. Yeah. You looked like you were really ticked off.
I was on the edge, I think.
So you were posing
on
for the
edge.
picture and still looked ticked off.
I wasn't ticked off. It was a good weekend.
Of course you wasn't ticked
Especially on Saturday because it rained all day and we were indoors, right?
And this was the
first round and semifinals.
Cowboys.
Semifinals.
A week from this weekend is the finals when they bring back the veterans and the newbies have to okay, you look good with going up against all the new.
Do you get much airtime on the TV show?
If I say something stupid, yeah.
Okay. Do you try to say something stupid?
I don't do it on purpose.
So unlike Talking Cowboys,
just happens. It just happens. Yes.
Okay. Gerald McCoy officially released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. Here's a six-time Pro Bowler whose production has not really fallen off the last few years. 31 years old, who was the third pick in the draft in 2010. What do you think the market will be like for him out there?
I think it'll greatly improve now that the 2019 base salary is not $13 million. And I think that kind of ruined the trade value for Tampa Bay because his base salary was going to be $13 million.
We're also past losing the compensatory pick, right? By signing him?
It doesn't count against,
That helps.
Well, he would be, as a release player, it wouldn't be a factor anyway.
Right.
But, you got, and Sue was the second pick of the draft that year. So
and both
you got
are available.
Both of them out there on the street right now. So how long will this process play out, you think? Because one's going to be looking at the other. Okay, if he's getting this much,
I don't know if Sue wants to play football.
Okay.
Or go to training camp.
Training camp is a big problem for him.
Or as soon as the Reuben Foster of the defensive tackles gets
that's
hurt.
what I was about to say. I think it might behoove Gerald McCoy to wait and see, unless someone jumps at him with an offer, which I doubt they will right now.
He's talking about playoff teams and stuff. That's funny. He mentioned Cleveland as a playoff team.
Yeah,
it's everybody's mentioning Cleveland now as the destination of let's go and be a part of that.
Like the prohibitive favorite to win the North in the AFC. That's shocking.
How much do you guys know about Cleveland's roster? Do you guys know very much?
They're loaded with young talent. They're
okay. I know that the NFL did a study or had a story about that the Cowboys had the 6th best roster.
Most complete team.
The Los Angeles Chargers were number 1. I think that Cleveland was ranked 2 or 3. Am I right about that?
Did you? Did they go into details on why they're ranked 2 or 3?
Just because of recognizable names?
Overall roster. That's what they said. From top to bottom, the overall roster. They mentioned about the Cowboys and the fact that the additions with Cobb and Witten, those guys might not be what they once were, but it should help, But they were talking about the All-Pros and stuff like that, so. Yeah, I mean Cleveland's roster. They're running
a 4-3 with Steve Wilkes as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
How many games did they win last year? 7.
Who
cares?
So
I'm just
trying to figure
last
out.
Year?
Yeah.
I just asked how many did they win last year?
I'm expecting you to be sarcastic about this, I guess. Sorry about that.
You just immediately jumped on that, didn't you? You knew that was coming, right?
Yeah.
You knew that pitch was coming. You were waiting on it. You turned on it.
I did.
You did.
Right. Cleveland. Sometimes I wonder: is there legitimate interest from Cleveland for this player or not?
Well,
the player throws his name.
Exactly.
They throw it out.
Yeah, but wasn't somebody in Cleveland lobbying for him already, like Odell or somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So again, my question: is there really legitimate interest from Cleveland or not? Cleveland is paying Sheldon. They signed Sheldon Richardson 3 years, $36 million.
Sure.
What position does Sheldon Richardson play?
So I'm saying, how much do I watch the Jets? He's
same position
like a tackle.
McCoy would play.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Well, I need to know if Richardson would play the 1 or would he play the 3. See, that's what I didn't see much of Jets tape, so that's why anytime it's an AFC question, I feel like an idiot because I need to focus in on not so much. I'll tell you what's going on in Washington, New York, Philly, and
of course
Minnesota.
He's jumped around a little bit now. So he was with the Seahawks and then the Vikings, and so
they've got Ojanobi also,
right? And so they're
tackle,
but Richardson's at $12 million a year there. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm sure McCoy feels like he should be in that ballpark.
Well, everybody's going to mention Cleveland because they think they have a better roster. So that
others will mention the Patriots because the Patriots are the Patriots, and they pick off players like this.
And they'll mention the Cowboys because of where he's from, and
from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, not far, from here.
So, would you bring it to the Cowboys? Should there be interest from the Cowboys in this player?
They will tell you no. They will tell you no because they feel like that they want to see what they have. They're going to try and go with the young players first.
Just spend a high draft pick.
They're going to give this kid a chance, Hill, to compete with Malik Collins and see if he can play the 3 and the under tackle and be good.
So what do the Cowboys tell Gerald McCoy's agent when he calls and asks if there's interest?
Hey, thanks, best of luck. Please don't go to Philly or one of those places.
Or we can
they say
we can give you
we're full?
They can do it.
No room at the end.
I've talked to
if something happened. Then
I've talked to the Cab guys. They can do a deal. We can
give you a 1-year deal for $4 or $5 million.
Yeah. That's
you interested?
But see, that's what they've done with Cobb, and that's what they've done with these guys.
Give him flexibility next year.
Yeah,
it gives the guy a chance to cash in next year. He's obviously going to be signing late. There's not as much money.
31 years old.
Let's say he always wanted to be a Cowboy. And he would bite at that deal. You would do that? One year, $5 or $6 million?
I think, you would.
1 year?
Yeah, absolutely you would. Absolutely you would. But see, that's the thing about it is if it turns into, okay, we're going to try and do this for, is this 12, 13, 14 for one? No, it's not, but who has it said that we're past that, right? We're past the $13 million. I think Mickey just said it. We're past $13 million as far as not getting that. I mean, trust me, they said they can do a 1-year deal if they have to.
And remember, last year, he only had 6 sacks. And he didn't have any sacks in the last 6 games of the season. 21 quarterback pressures. Against the Cowboys, when they played, he had 1 tackle. So let's not think this is 6-time, 7-time Pro Bowler Gerald McCoy still.
He's still been pretty productive.
6 sacks.
Yeah. It's been what's what he's averaged most of his career, right?
No.
Am I wrong?
How many did you look up? How many did Jason Pierre-Paul have?
Last 6 games last year, he had 6 sacks. He didn't have any sacks and 10 tackles. And that was Tampa Bay. Yeah. They needed him on the field playing well.
The sack leader on their team was Jason Pierre-Paul. That was their guy who was there. It still is a I would like to have the guy myself.
Yeah,
I would, and I get what Mickey's saying here, and he's not wrong.
But the year before, Gerald McCoy had 6 sacks. The year before that, he had 7 sacks. The year before that, 8.5.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of where he's at. Yeah. Most years.
He had, according to Pro Football Reference, he had 21 quarterback hits last year. He had 24 the year before. He had 14 the year before that. 17 the year before that. Tackles for loss, he had 6 last year. 13 the year before. 5 the year before that, 8 the year before that. So I mean, he's an interior defensive lineman.
Give me the number of games he's played. Is he a 16 guy?
He started in play 14 games last year.
Okay.
15, 13, 16, 16 since 2012.
My note here says he played 732 snaps, so right at 70% of the snaps.
And he missed 2 games.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I'm just on a 1-year deal.
I would take him in a heartbeat.
It's kind of like, let me ask you this, though, Mickey. I'm just not trying to put you in a spot, but would you have done the same thing for Cobb? And I mean, when Cobb, before they signed Cobb, would you have felt like that would have been money well spent?
Yes.
Randall Cobb?
Yes.
Even before? All you knew.
The only downside on Cobb is last year he had a hamstring injury.
Right.
His production before that was high. His production the year before was high until Aaron Rodgers got hurt. When Aaron Rodgers went down, his numbers went down because he was playing with a rookie quarterback who wasn't ready to play.
There's one difference there, though. When they signed Cobb, they had a clear hole there without Beasley.
But it was still a 1-year deal.
I get it.
So my point was 1 year for $4 or $5 million. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this.
But I'm not signing him to a long-term deal.
Let's say the Buccaneers had released McCoy before the draft, okay, when the Cowboys had a clear hole at that position.
That's what I'm saying. Different story. Now, but you did just spend a second-round pick on a guy that you really like. And
I like
safety.
Tristan Hill, okay. He's 20 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ish.
21. Yeah, 21.
If he's 21, he just turned 21.
Right. Rod Marinelli was with him on his birthday, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And I'm looking at a player like that coming into the year. He's not it's going to be very difficult for that player to take on the full load of an NFL season right off the bat.
Well,
but he can be a very, very productive player in a rotation. And it might be great for Gerald McCoy's career to be more in a rotation as well.
Better players around him, I think, would help.
The other part of Gerald McCoy is he is a tremendous person. He's a tremendous leader, and he would be a great mentor to that young defensive tackle you just drafted.
See, I was just trying to think about, and I appreciate the way Mickey answered the question, but I'm always wondering about this, if production – was Cobb really the most productive? Was he really the most healthy? If we're not willing to do that, if we weren't willing to do Cobb, then why are we willing to do this one? Why are we willing to, but if it's a 1-year deal and it's, I don't think you're going to get him for $5 million. I don't.
No, I don't.
I just don't think that's going to happen. But if we're willing to do it, we're willing to do it for $8 million. We're willing to do it for that.
Did you think you were going to get Cobb for $5 million on a 1-year deal?
I thought worse of Cobb than you did, Mickey.
All right.
I thought worse. That's just me. I thought there was more there, and you factored in about the stuff with Rodgers not being available. I definitely hurt the guy, but I would be more likely not to sign Cobb than I would McCoy. Does that make sense? Just what I know. Just what I know about the number of games, and I think that Tampa's situation for a while there, their quarterback situation's been bad. They went out and they signed Jason Pierre-Paul. He was their leading sacker. I think there's a lot of issues there with Tampa. I think that's an organization that sometimes players go to die.
Well, if you wanted him, you probably could have traded a 6th-round pick and got him.
You didn't want that. You didn't want that $13 million.
Just tell him we're restructuring that contract.
Yeah.
You're not getting that salary.
But to Bill's point, you traded for Robert Quinn, a guy that's proven that can step in, and he's going to help you this year.
That's where I'm at.
How much difference between the two guys?
Yeah, see, that's where I need to figure out because I watched.
Age is about the same.
About the same, and they're both limited on the sacks.
Reed did his contract.
One has 6. I mean, if you look at Robert Quinn's numbers, it's very similar.
Quinn's deal's 1 year.
He might be 29.
Yeah.
So Quinn's deal's 1 year, $8 million. Okay, $6 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And would you do that deal for McCoy?
That's where I'm at. Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm there on that because I think to me, I'm not paying 13. I'm banking on a guy that, as you said, Bill, is a good locker room guy, a good person, and banking on the players around him being better. And I think that would help him. He could still play the under tackle. We played Tampa late in the year last year. I didn't think that Gerald McCoy was terrible.
Okay. How do you envision your rotation?
Yeah, that's what my question.
Case?
You have McCoy and Hill.
Because it's just
Malik Collins.
But you got Collins too. But you got
Mickey, just a second. That was my question.
Collins.
Malik Collins, could he play the one? He's done it before.
He has done it before. But you also went and signed Christian Covington, who I think is going to be a good one. Hyder to me is kind of like, okay, Hyder's one of those guys you signed for not much money, thinking that, okay, if the competition is not good, maybe he makes your team. If the competition is too good, he doesn't make the team.
But he's like a 3.
He's a 3. Yeah, he played nose tackle.
Collins is a 3.
Yeah. See, to me, this is where if you've kind of moved on from Malik Collins in your mind because he doesn't have a contract after next year. If you've kind of moved on from him, then maybe you make this move. Maybe you say, okay, we'll bring McCoy in with Hill, and we'll have a competition at that under tackle.
And then what are you doing with Tyrone Crawford?
He's a defensive end, maybe.
Yeah, because I don't have
behind Quinn.
I think he's ahead of Quinn. I think you bring in Quinn off the bench.
Yeah, Crawford's your starter.
Crawford's your starter right in, and then you rotate Quinn in, and you try and keep him as fresh as you can during the games, and let him just rush past. As much as this team plays nickel, he'll be on the field 65% of the time anyway.
And then what happens if Randy Gregory gets reinstated?
Now you have some real competition. Now you have some. Now you look at that and you say, all right, well, maybe now you make the deal with Crawford. Maybe you say, okay, we're going to move on from Crawford. There's some cap savings right there.
Well, the other thing
$7 million after June 1st.
The other thing is to start the year, are you going to have Tyrone Crawford? Do you know for sure you're going to have him week 1?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh.
Tyrone Crawford.
Why?
Off the field.
Oh.
Yeah, that's stuff
I'm just saying. Don't look at me like I'm crazy.
No, I didn't know what you were talking about. It didn't register.
He better not get suspended.
I'm just saying that's something that's in the news, right?
But let me ask you this though about that. If you own that restaurant or bar and you had your employees getting accosted in that restaurant by somebody in his party, don't you as a restaurant owner, don't you want to protect your employees? Don't you want to see something happen to him for what he did or what somebody in his party did? I'm just asking this question. I mean, to me, my family was in the restaurant business for 80 years. Mm-hmm. If my dad didn't protect the employees in there, that's wrong about my dad. If something happened in that bar or that restaurant where he was involved and somebody in his party and he's going nuts outside of it, he deserves to get fully 60 days in jail, whatever. He deserves that. in my opinion.
But you don't know how it escalated.
Evidently, though, from what we're hearing about the story, that somebody in his party was involved with personnel in the bar. And then it escalated then outside. The event went outside, and then that's where he went nuts. I'm just saying, though. Well, I know my situation, my family situation.
But you didn't have bouncers in your family restaurant.
No, but my dad.
And that's what the personnel was.
Yeah, but my dad protected the people that work in
And I'm
his
with you, but you don't know how bouncers. I've seen bouncers in bars, how they can react to things.
He went nuts. They were trying to. That thing went out into the thing, and he went nuts outside. That's the problem. I'm just like I say. If they find him guilty, he should serve the full 60 days in jail for that. That's my opinion.
What is it, a misdemeanor charge? So I'm just saying, anytime there's legal stuff, even when there's not legal stuff involved, the NFL can get involved. You just never know. So when you're looking at numbers here on the D line, it's just something to consider. But they obviously are deep there, and they would be much deeper if you add another veteran.
So does spending $8 million on a position you've already fortified stop you from doing something else with a contract extension for somebody else? Does that take away from what you give Amari Cooper?
If we were
McCoy,
okay. I don't think it would. I think what you would wind up doing. There are other spots on this roster where you can trim salary either by trade or release, where you can make up a lot of that $8 million.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect.
We talked about.
So you need the $8 million. You need the $8 million available by signing Amari Cooper to a long-term deal, because that'll reduce his cap charge for this year. Mm-hmm. It's $14 million now.
Sure.
If you sign him to a long-term deal, that'll probably save $7 million.
I'm just going on what the cap guys are saying, that they can absorb Mickey's saying a $5 million. That's fine. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. I mean, 5 to but to me, I think it's one of those things where if you feel like that you can get a little bit better at the position, if you've moved on in your mind from Malik Collins is the foot issue. It seems that he doesn't get to practice, but to his credit, he plays. But is Gerald McCoy better than Malik Collins? That's the question you have to ask yourself. For this year, he is.
And for that matter, Malik Collins. Yeah. I mean, if he were to trade him or whatever, you would save $2 million there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's ways to manipulate it. It's the question. Well, the biggest question is how does this team feel about McCoy? How is he playing now?
Yeah.
And how much of an upgrade would it be, and is it worth it?
Yeah.
Well, how much does he want? Because somebody else might give him a 3-year, $30 million deal.
You could totally get blown out of the water on a deal here.
Right. But, yeah. I mean, when it's keeping it all in perspective that he is agreeable to whatever contract it is that you want to pay him. All right. We continue with more Talking Cowboys in a moment.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at OtterBox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine a surging river of ice-cold Dr. Pepper, roaring with carbonated mists of desire. You're dangling above it, upside down, like a fishing lure in the wind. 23 flavors tickle your nose, but the river is too far away to taste. Dr. Pepper calls to you. You.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Well, I've got a code for Jack Black, and it's big. And this is Cleanup Big Tuesday, okay? And this offer expires at 11:59 tonight. You spend $85 in purchases, and you get a full-size 10-ounce cleanser. And you get to choose from Turbo Wash, Energizing Cleanser, Clean Cream Body Wash, not easy to say, or All Over Wash, all 10 ounces. You just go to jackblack.com and you use the code BIG and you get one of those 10 ounces free.
See, this represents
double reads for those cats.
This represents Mickey's bulldog mentality, okay? He's ticked off that Shannon has a read before his.
Yes.
And he's gone to war over it. He's trying to top it, and guess who wins?
I will be on mile 2 tonight re-listening to this show.
You got
the greatness of Jack Black.
And I'll hear Jack Black twice. Yep,
there you
absolutely.
go.
I sure would like some more Jack Black myself.
So would I.
Father's Day's coming up.
Yep.
It's a great Father's Day gift.
One of us has a birthday coming up. Oh. That's for my daughter out there who I know is listening to the show.
And she could get a 10-ouncer.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. Very good. I've run out. It's time.
It is time.
Me too.
Seems like it happens my birthday
Mickey trying
every
to
year.
piggyback on the Bills stuff.
All right, the offense and Kellen Moore. What will the Kellen Moore effect be on this Cowboys offense?
That's what we're here to watch OTAs.
You know, if in fact if Kellen Moore, if we go out there and I don't think it's about formations and all that kind of thing or moving people around. I just hope that Kellen Moore finds something that they can hang their hat on, that he can use and say, okay, we're going to build from this. Will McCoy was talking about this, with Zeke. Our identity is running the football. Our identity is toughness. If Kellen Moore can take what that is with the toughness aspect of it, and then they'll come up with some creative ideas to expand the toughness. Maybe not just totally run the football, but if he comes up with, okay, if they get in, maybe running the ball at 11 personnel, not having to change into 12 or 13 personnel to run the ball, so teams match you and stuff like that. He needs to come up with some ways of taking that toughness that Will McClay, Jerry Jones, and Stephen Jones want their team to be, and then building around that. But I'm interested. I don't think it's about, oh, look, jet sweeps. Oh, look, funny formations. Oh, look, this and that, or creativity. I think it's about do what they do well, but try and expand on that a little bit further down to where your quarterback's having success, your receivers are having success, and your tight ends are having success, and the offensive line is able to function the way they are.
The thing he talked about at rookie camp when he was interviewed was, to your point, Brian, his philosophy being multiple.
Right.
And he feels like they've got a lot of skill players who have versatility where you can present some different looks and still stick to your core principles of what you do. And to me, that kind of reminded me of the way the Rams do things. Not that you're trying to copycat the Rams, but the Rams have a lot of window dressing, but they still kind of run what they run after pre-snap looks. And that's maybe, there's more of that. But I didn't get the impression from listening to him, talking to him, that he's going to drastically change what works for this team. It's just trying to present things maybe a little bit differently and explore some different avenues. And I'm sure they feel like promoting him to this role, his experience in college and being a younger guy, I think introducing some concepts, I think that's got to be something they've got to look at least.
Think about Kellen Moore in his NFL career. What type offense as a player and now as a coach has he been in?
Linehan's.
Yeah.
So how much of a difference is it going to be from Linehan's
now
offense?
maybe he goes back to college.
But he also played at Boise.
Yeah, 53 game
10 years ago.
53 game winner in college, one of the most successful college quarterbacks. Chris Peterson, if you look at what some things that they've done at the University of Washington with Browning there, the quarterback there they've had, Washington has had a lot of success in the Pac-12. I think that what you if you're the great ones, and I remember being with John Gruden when he was a very similar age to what Kellen Moore, when he was first starting out as an OC. John Gruden used to steal every day. He would steal something. His screen packages came from the Minnesota Vikings with Darren Nelson and Bob Snelker. He always found ways. He looked at what they were doing in Miami with Dan Marino and with Clayton and Duper and those guys. He was trying to figure out, even though it goes back to the 80s, he was going back and trying to study. His principles were from Bill Walsh. He was with, Mike Holmgren in that group. So I think as a smart coordinator, you got to find ways to take ideas from other people. And again, Rob was talking about, well, maybe it's the Rams, but no, maybe it's the Rams, maybe it's the Seahawks, maybe it's the University, it's Arizona State, maybe it's I think you have to find ideas like, okay, who Tom Coughlin put me on a project one time in Jacksonville. He's like, tell me who who these coordinators are, who are the teams that are moving the football. Who are the guys? Who was my guy again? I'm sorry, I'm just brain dead when it comes to this. The guy that was Arkansas. He was at the Atlanta Falcons. He quit. Bob Petrino. Okay, Bob Petrino in 1998 was a young and upcoming guy in college football ranks. He was at Auburn. He was getting a start. People were kind of like, "Whoa, this guy's moving the ball." And then, see, that's what you kind of do, though. You look for those guys that have various ways of manipulating offense and putting people in. It might be very simplistic. It might be very complex. We'll be interested to see what happens in Arizona with Texas Tech's offense in their scheme out there with that quarterback. But maybe we'll find one day that they're stealing ideas. Maybe people were stealing ideas from Cliff Kingsbury when he was at Texas Tech, or what's going on with Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. I think that's where I think that's where Kellen Moore. I think that's where we need to see him up to the work. Let's see what ideas he has on his own, but what other ideas that he's been able to kind of borrow and try to make his own.
He strikes me as being such a student of the game.
He's studied. There's no question. Yep. There's no question.
And, even though he's been in Linehan's system, and this take nothing away from Linehan, I would think that he would be open-minded about adding things.
I'm sure there's got to be things that he was watching those games and going, God, we got to do, this would be different. This should be different. I think, again, adding John Kitten, I think, will help. I think the tight end coach has got, he was an offensive coordinator in college himself.
And Garrett, for that matter.
Yeah, to me, this is where if Garrett's smart, he lets those three come up with some ideas and say, okay, this is what we're going to be. We're going to be a physical team. We're going to be a tough team, but we need to come up with some different ideas of how to move the football.
So, because they're still going to run the ball, and they're still going to feature Zeke Elliott.
So, how many points a game do they need to score for you to say, oh, he put his mark on this team?
They averaged 22 last year, didn't they?
But the second half of the season after Amari Cooper got here, in 7 of 8 games, they averaged almost 27 points a game.
They need to average somewhere between 25 and 26 points a game.
They still had trouble in the red zone. And we can talk about scheme.
They went 7-1.
That's great. They went 7-2 after Amari got here.
I said 7-1 the last 8 games.
Okay, cool. What does it matter? God.
Well, why did you correct me at 7-2? I said the last 8 games.
We can talk about scheme and we can talk about changing drastically things. And Brian's right. New ideas, that's what they want here. But simple execution, too,
helps a lot.
Would have helped. And I think personnel is going to help, too. If they had just converted some of those red zone opportunities, you get Travis Frederick back to help your red zone offense. Get Jason Witten in there. I think that can help Kellen Moore just as much as scheme or coming up with drastically new ideas because they move the ball pretty well. I'm trying to make your point, Mickey. You make it so hard for me to agree with you on anything. But they need to execute better, too. It's just pulling teeth. It's dentist office.
In 6 of the last 8 games, they scored at least 22 points. And the one clunker they threw in the last
Colts.
8 game was the Colts. They got shut out.
Yep.
Without that shutout, they averaged nearly 27 points a game
Need to
in
do
those
it again.
last 8.
But it just could have been so much better. I think they went 1 for 5 in the red zone against the Saints, and it took a historic defensive performance to beat that team. They had opportunities.
So I feel it was so bad down in the red zone that time. Go back and watch that.
Yeah, man, the Saints scored with their great offense. They scored 10.
There we go. Yeah,
got stopped on a 4th and 1. That was a great goal line stand.
Why? It doesn't have to be a comparison between the Saints and the Cowboys.
No,
it's how they're trying to improve
I understand.
here. Do you, or are you just trying to argue with me?
They did score 22 in the playoff game. They didn't have to give up 30.
Can I change the subject?
And 273 yards.
You getting Jack
rushing.
Black?
No. I would like, to answer your question, and we'll move on, I would like for Kellen Moore to have this offense at the level of the Rams, which was 33 points a game last year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Got the Super Bowl.
There you go. That's right. And then how many they score in the Super Bowl?
Not many.
Who's the best running back in the National Football League?
Oh, there's a tournament going on television.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, is there?
NFL Network.
All I know is one guy's won the rushing title 2 of the last 3 years.
And he probably would have won it a third year if he hadn't got suspended.
On CBS 11 on Sunday night, an interview was conducted with Zeke Elliott, and he was asked by Keith Russell about do you believe you're the best running back in the league?
The answer was absolutely yes.
Yes. And then the names of Todd Gurley and
Le'Veon Bell?
Saquon Barkley.
And Saquon Barkley were brought up, and I loved Zeke's response. I don't remember exactly how Keith posed the question, but he mentioned Gurley, he mentioned Barkley, and it was like, and you still believe you're the best? Yes. Basically is what he said.
Hey,
I laughed out loud when it was a one-word answer.
Man's trying to get paid.
And then I'm like, well, why wouldn't people consider Zeke to be up there?
Well,
I mean, but you mentioned Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, of course, was not a part of this last year.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable to me that Le'Veon Bell is still not in Pittsburgh. That whole thing. I mean, and we'll see what the career path of Le'Veon Bell is with the Jets. We'll see how that works out. New coaching staff, potentially new general manager, and all that. But, to me, when you start talking about complete backs, Gurley, Bell, Elliott, those are the names
And he caught, 70 passes?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if people think of Zeke and think of, true versatility. I think they see him running over people and hurdling people and the feed me gesture, but the guy caught 77 passes last year. He really can do everything.
It's like the argument that was posed when Emmett was winning rushing titles.
Funny you should mention Emmitt Smith.
Barry Sanders is the best running back.
Funny you should mention Emmitt Smith. First 3 years in the league, who had more rushing yards, Zeke Elliott or Emmitt Smith?
Zeke.
Emmitt had more rushing yards, 4,213 to 4,048. He played 8 more games than.
So Zeke had more rushing yards.
Okay. Emmitt had 41 touchdowns, Zeke 28. You're big on touchdowns, Mickey,
yes.
right? All right. How about receiving? Receptions. Zeke had 135, Emmitt had 132. Emmitt had 821 yards receiving, Zeke 1,199.
Some long screens.
Yep. So total yards, 5,247 for Zeke on 1,003 touches, 5,034 for Emmitt on 1,111 touches. So Zeke, total yards from scrimmage, has 213 more yards than what Emmitt had in his first 3 years in the league, and Emmitt played 8 more games.
Yeah.
He's good.
He is good.
Well, there's a reason. I mean, you don't spend – there's a lot of people that were very critical of them for using the 4th overall pick on a running back. And that's your numbers support why. And you've won games, and again, the offense is geared around him. And I when you start talking about the best that play, him, Gurley, I'll be interested to see Barkley. To me has a chance to be better than any of them. But I worry about Barkley for 2 reasons. They haven't fixed the offensive line situation, and their quarterback play is poor. And, and that's maybe the one thing that will kill Barkley. If we think about the great running backs that have ever played and the positions they've been in, Walter Payton played behind a very poor Chicago Bear team until 1985, until Mike Ditka came along. They were very poor. You look at Barry Sanders, very poor Detroit Lion teams that he had to endure with Wayne Fonts and, a couple of playoff games here and there. But overall, bad teams. You worry about, you will never, you feel like, wow, I think maybe the same thing the best years of Saquon Barkley might be wasted because of the Giants' inability to have a consistent
proper personnel around
Yeah,
him.
now we'll see. They drafted a quarterback. We'll see with the offensive line, but they don't have any wide receivers. They don't have anything to help him at all.
Well, we're out of time, but I will say this. When defensive coordinators scheme against the Cowboys, who's the guy that they have to be most concerned with?
Jason Witten. Ezekiel
That's why 21 Jason Witten has come back.
Taco.
Yep. Taco.
There it is.
See you next week. Enjoy your OTA week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?